Hi, Matt Shinian here. Welcome to my virtual open studio. Here's 3 paintings that I'm going to feature for this week's open studio, and it will end on Sunday of this coming week. I want to talk about these in terms of the light. I get a lot of questions about how I capture the light in a day's painting or that day's painting, and I think it's an important point of prosaic realism to express the actual conditions of the day when I'm there at that time, not just the day, actually just like an hour or not, maybe even less. So I have 3 paintings. This painting is Depot Street in Greenwich. This painting is, I think it was Cedar Street in Worcester, Massachusetts, an industrial seat. And this is a painting of the paint shelf right here in the studio. And so any one of these, I paint the same way every time. I set up the canvas to capture the scene, and I put it next to my scene. I put the canvas next to my scene, and then I do a lot of squinting. Because what I want to do is I want to express the brightness of the lightest patches. In this case, it's the snow and the liquid in the bottles, and a few other notes, but mostly it's the snow and some of the values that are very close to that. They sort of gathered together. And the darks, on the other hand, are actually not quite as bright, but nonetheless, they're pretty dark, and they're mostly down here and a few other places. And I strive to get those areas on first, very quickly, because light conditions change. And this is probably not going to change because it was fairly straightforward. But in a painting like Depot Street, the light was changing very quickly. That time of day is really hard to do. And so the only way I could do it is I get that sky in, which is bright. And in order to express that, I have to make everything else dark. And when you're there, and if you're looking at the dark part of the landscape, your pupil will actually get bigger. It'll look differently. You'll see more detail in it. But if you're looking at the light part, all the other stuff, it changes. Your eye literally changes how you see things. And I can't stress enough that what I like to do is look at the whole picture. Look at the light in comparison to the dark and paint the dark areas like as you're looking at the light area, because you'll get a better idea of what is actually happening. If you focus too much on a detail, you will bring that detail out. If you may not want that detail, and I don't want those details. I want them to subvert to the quality of the light in the darkness, because that's a bigger concept. Now, the Worcester Street, this is an industrial street in Worcester, and it was kind of a hazy day. There wasn't hard-edged shadows and that kind of thing. And it was for the most part, very bright, but not a highest bright. It's just a little bit grayer from the brightest of the lights. And the darks are limited to, as you know, the bridge and a few other spots in there. They're not even that dark because they're in the distance, and in the distance, darks get lighter just as lights get darker. It's more of a modulating thing. So here you have 3 different paintings, but basically the same approach to trying to get that sense of light. And it happens very quickly, and it happens almost, I kind of don't even think about it, but I'm responding to what's there. And I'm doing everything in relationship to everything else. So no one thing gets too much attention and too much detail. The whole picture has to be looked at as a whole. These paintings are on sale for 25% on my website until Sunday. I've got about 12. I'll probably put another 3 or 6 on there before that ends. If you have any questions, just shoot me a message. And thank you so much for joining me. Take care now.